Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Marketing 101 for chiropractors. We got an awesome guest from the other side of the world today. Simon, thanks for joining us, my man. He's from e-commerce.
What's up, man?
Yeah, accelerators. That's awesome. Tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, cool. Well, firstly, thanks for having me. This is the first outing of my new podcast studio. It's the first podcast I've done from here, and I'm just getting into it, so I'm really grateful. This is it's a big moment for me. So, dude, I've got like a short story which is 2 or 3 minutes, and then you know who I am, what I've done my whole career. So I started a e-commerce brand called Fitwear when I was 19. I was a bodybuilder. I was like the bully kid at high school, and then I got into bodybuilding and started a fitness apparel brand. Back in the early days, we were talking off camera about how lead quality's gotten a bit shaky. Well, in 2012, you could kind of slam boost and money would just pour out of the screen at you. And so I did that, sold half of that brand at 23 for $1.1 million and was like, awesome, I've cracked it. I'm done. I'm a genius. Proceeded to destroy it, destroy that business, did all of the dumb things that a young kid without a mentor and lots of money does. By 27, I was broke, living at home with my parents again, and I had no money to start a brand. So I started an agency, and I went out. I said, I'm going to go out. I'm going to build what would have saved me, because once I got all that money, I hired all these agencies, and then they all made money while I lost everything, and then looked me in the eye at the end of it and said, no, we did a good job. We fulfilled our deliverables. And I'm like, but I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, but I'm fucked, what's going on? And so we built this agency, and I thought, this is it. Like, we're going to be able to do this differently. Got up to 85 team members and realized the agency model is inherently flawed. The profit motives aren't there. They're not aligned. It's just too difficult to do right by everyone and make $1. And so I ended up dissolving the agency, 85 people at our peak, into what we have now called the e-commerce accelerator, where basically we go into e-commerce brands, and instead of working with them like an agency would, where, once it's done, they own nothing, or like a coach would, where there's a little bit less implementation support, we go in, and what we do is we build internal agencies for e-commerce brands. That's like my core business. And it's just, we basically help them set up their internal teams and systems. And that's me. And then the reason I'm here and I'm kind of doing the podcast circuit at this point is I want to help other thought leaders build accelerators to leverage the knowledge in their brain and the knowledge of their network as well. So we call them personal universities. And I honestly think it's the solution to a lot of things we're talking about: lead quality, CPMs are rising, ad costs, all of that stuff. Like, work harder, connect deeper, and you'll get all the business, because the business is still out there. It's just not as easy to go add money anymore, right? I'd love to talk to you about what I've done in my business to get more leverage and enjoy what I do more and acquire customers and stuff, and how that could apply to doctors and things like that.
Yeah, and that's what I loved about your bio. And when they sent it to me, I was like, man, this is absolutely perfect. And I didn't know your backstory. I think that makes you even more qualified, that you sold, you failed, you ended up back at home. You understand both ends of this and what didn't work. A lot of success for many doctors comes naturally. I've talked to many of them, like, how are you so successful? You always look up to the successful ones. You ask them the questions, and they really don't have a good answer. I'm like, you're just lucky, aren't you? And they think about it for a second. They're like, yeah, I guess. And then some days I think the same thing. I'm like, why am I successful in what I do? I think I'm just lucky. I haven't been punched in the face yet. I felt like sometimes I have, but not like that. I haven't had to go back to my parents' house, So that's really cool. I love that story.
Maybe a little bit of credit. I think it might also have something to do with the diligence that goes into that 4 to 10 year study career, right?
I guess so. Yeah. Professionals, they're already dedicated to what they've done, and they're not going to fall back. Yeah, they're all
in that. Easy come, easy go. I think there's something about the 6-year degree or whatever that is like, all right, let's not lose this. I think I always say that I learned a lot more on the way down than I did on the way up. On the way up, you're just like, woohoo, I'm the man. Everything I touch turns to gold. On the way down, you're like, why did I do all of that? What's happening?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I love that. That makes it and really relatable as well, because there's a lot of people that are struggling. I'll be honest with you, people who listen to podcasts or are trying to hire a digital agency. Trust me, they don't want to do any of this. They don't want to sit around listening to a podcast. They don't want to hire a digital agency. They're struggling. So, and it's 2024. I guess we can start saying 2025. And to be ahead of the curve, I love what you're going to bring to the table, and I'll make sure you do all the talking. Is this idea of communities? I've been yelling about this for 2 years since COVID. I've been telling people, listen, we've killed communities in
Yes.
real life because of COVID. Like, we killed them. New Zealand was isolated. It was Alcatraz for 3 years. There was no in or out, right? Canada, same thing. And we killed society as far as bonding with one another. We're still kind of recovering. It's like post-traumatic stress syndrome, where we don't even want to touch anyone or talk to anyone. We're still recuperating from this. And community is dead. There used to be, the barbecue festivals, the music festivals. Like, these things don't even exist anymore. They're starting to trickle back. But if you were the leader in your community to bring these things, we didn't even stop here in Tampa. I'm in crazy Florida, so we had
Yeah.
Kids Day Tampa Bay, April 16th, 2020, outside. We were like the crazy people. Like, what are you doing?
With my
And we have never
agency,
stopped.
I,
But
I was one of two people. I owned the business, and I wasn't allowed at my Christmas party because I wasn't vaccinated and safe enough for everyone. It was funny. I zoomed in. It was a real like.
right. So now you're bringing the communities back, but in a different way. This is how it's
Yeah.
going to move forward. Everyone's on their phones. Everyone's still on social media. It's not going anywhere. So there's this concept of communities, and I love this. In e-commerce, it makes sense. Like, anyone that's in e-commerce is going to be like, oh yeah, we do this. But chiropractors right now are probably like, what are you talking about? What's a digital community? I already have a Facebook page. And
Yeah.
we'll be like, no. Those likes, they're not even seeing your page anymore. Those followers, they don't see your posts. It's all changed. The algorithms have changed. So getting potential leads, as we'll call that, into a group is a fantastic. You've blown my mind. Now you take it from here. What does that look like? How would somebody start that? And how do you make that successful?
Yeah, cool. Do you mind if I layer this up with a couple of sort of foundational pieces, a couple of
Sure.
axioms to build on top of, some knowledge first? So I'd just like to firstly agree. Look at the e-commerce brands. Look at what they're doing. They're the tip of the spear. Do what they're doing because it'll be in your industry in 5 years. So, like, start there, right? It's a closed loop circuit. In e-commerce, I'm generating the view, the lead, the click, the sale, the whole thing, all in one ecosystem. So it's an immediate feedback loop. This allows you to evolve really quickly, right? So that's one thing. Two, we talked off here a little bit about lead quality. Lead quality is going down. Absolutely. CPMs are going up. Leads aren't as good anymore. There's a bunch of stuff you can do, which I know you're an absolute expert in terms of maximizing the quality of the existing leads. Like, people say, I've got junk leads. How fast are you calling them? If you're not calling them within a minute, I didn't want to hear about it, So you've got everything that happens after you generate the lead for someone that's got a urgent problem, right? Like, if we take the chiropractor example to start with, like, but podiatrists, physios, doctors, naturopaths, it doesn't matter, but chiros are a good one. If I'm spending money on Google and Facebook right now to generate those leads, I'm competing in a saturated marketplace for the most expensive type of lead that I could possibly get against sort of everyone, right? Now, there's a concept, the awareness funnel, or the stages of awareness that a customer goes through. And I couldn't even tell you the exact 5 stages. I should know this, but it basically goes from like I think it goes product aware, solution aware, problem unaware, and you go up this funnel, and there's progressively more individuals in that funnel. They're easier to reach, they're easier to connect with, but they don't have a necessarily immediate need. And so that's kind of the key point. That's the key point we're playing on here, is let's use a community instead of to compete earlier up that awareness funnel, connect with someone, educate them, nurture them, add value to their existence and to their lives. And that way, we are the natural and only option when they end up having the problem that we serve, right? And so I think that's the ultimate, I think it's the ultimate solve is we absolutely should do all of the really smart, intelligent, tactical things once we've generated that lead to ensure that we're capturing them. And we're always going to be capturing people that are like, problem aware, solution aware. I just need a chiro right now today. Cool. But my view is the practices, the doctors, the chiros, the whoever's that are going to win over the long term are going to invest in a community that is that their ideal customer prospects come out of, right? And so at that point, right, if we stop and pause there for a second, in real life community was already kind of degrading over time, and then COVID was the kill shot, right? Destroyed it. But humans are starved of connection. They're desperate for it. They want it because they're not getting it out of the doom scrolling. So if you can provide a low friction, easy way for people to interact and communicate, boom, you're winning, right? Lead quality's down, CPMs are really expensive. Everyone's competing for those leads. Okay, cool. We need to go further up the awareness funnel and capture these people, more of these people before they have that immediate need and they become expensive and shaky, and we're just the only option. Cool. And then I guess the third piece is like marketing fundamentals. What I find with, and I'm only working with one physio client, like helping him build an accelerator like I did for myself. And I went through his work, and he's a really interesting physio. He does this like jaw, like muscular, intramuscular jaw work. And he gets like $400 to $500 an hour for that work. And then he does like his standard physio stuff, which he's high pays, is like $160, $180 an hour. But actually, those jaw patients, that's where his cash is. That's where his leverage is. He's only doing, let's say for argument's sake, 4 hours of that work a week. He's doing 30 hours of this work, of the standard work over here. We want to shift that. So if we use him as the example, I'm going, right, that's our ideal customer prospect, those people. How do we build a community there that appeals to individuals that are going through or could be going through some sort of jaw pain? And so every doctor practice should be doing this. They should be going, what's my most valuable customer? What do they look like? And what's their proclivity to eventually become like to come into our world, right? If you're in Calgary and you're a chiro, you might work exclusively with rodeo riders. That might be your niche, and like the 60% of your business. Cool. Let's do a little performance and longevity community for rodeo riders and whoever else, or just performance longevity community for everyone. But we might focus specifically on some of those rodeo riders as well. So if we do that and we're able to capture people early enough in the journey, and we know who we're looking for, then we can start to serve them, and eventually they become our customer. We're the natural alternative. And so when I say like serving a client or a community member, it's really just about taking that 25, 30 years experience, that wealth of knowledge, that unique mechanism. From my experience, like the good health practitioners, they've got a vibe or a shtick. There's a personality to it. There's little things that only they do, that they put together the nuance in a specific way. So let's get that out of the brain. Let's commodify that knowledge into a course or maybe a set of courses. I'm working with an elite athlete coach right now, and he does peak performance under pressure for CEOs. And so it's breathing mechanics, mobility, confidence as a skill. He's getting the stuff out of his brain into a course, into courses. And then perhaps we've got some group coaching. Maybe it's once a fortnight, once a month. We're catching up with these guys and we're helping them with the problems in their lives before they've hurt their back or hurt their foot or done whatever it is that people do, right? And one of the other things I think that people don't necessarily think about, but can add a lot of leverage for these types of digital communities is partnerships. So in the same way that a podiatrist and a physio and a chiro and a doctor get all together in a practice in New Zealand, like a whole bunch of guys will come together and rent rooms together and kind of share leads. You could do the exact same thing here, right? And then you could sort of service a community with that decentralized thought leadership from a couple of different providers, couple of courses, couple of coaches. We're talking an hour a week. And here's the secret weapon. And I think everyone loves this when we start talking about this. So we're building another little side thing I'm doing is we're building these AI wearables. They're called Hector. So I'm like assembling them here. That's what like the insides look like. And then we 3D print the cases and they look like this. It's got a 24-hour battery life. It listens to everything you say and it shoots it through an API into ChatGPT, processes the transcript of everything you've said with customized prompts. So you can set it to process it into an essay or or clinician notes or whatever it is you want. And what I'm doing with this physio I'm working with right now is he's wearing one of those. And I think one of the things that makes him a great physio is he explains to me everything that's happening, why I'm doing it, why he's doing it, where it's come from. And he does it to get adherence to the rehab program that I'm doing later. But he's literally explaining to me and to all of his patients consistently every day, everything he does. And we're now capturing it. And so he's literally writing his course. He's commodifying the knowledge and expertise in his brain simply by serving patients. And then we've set him up with a Filipino community coordinator to organize and collate that information into a program. And so now he's got an asset. And so instead of just going, hey, Google ad, you need a physio, he can go, and I'm mixing the metaphors here, sorry, jumping around physios, gyros.
That's right.
He can go out into the market and say, hey, jaw specialist, works with a lot of combat athletes and elderly folk, like he's got his general populist scenario. He can go out there and go, hey, I've got this community where I help people implement the daily practices in their lives to get strong, longevity, live longer, and live a healthier, fuller life. And so maybe that lead comes, when we're hammering that lead to get the appointment, maybe they do sign up somewhere else. Maybe they don't do it immediately. Let's hit them with, oh, by the way, I've got a community on the cold call. Oh, you're not coming in. You've missed your appointment. Hey, you should join our community, by the way. Getting your existing patients in there. Get them in there. Hey, have you got any friends that you think might be interested in the community so that they don't end up exactly where you ended up? And so for me, to wrap all of that up, I think the antidote to the expensive cost of advertising, the lower lead quality, is to connect with your potential customers earlier on in the journey before they have the urgent need, commodify the knowledge in your mind, potentially get together with some partners and build a community and program that supports that person to get their life outcomes. So when they do need you, you're just the natural choice. And you can sell the community's products, and it adds an entire another dimension to the business, right? It adds a lot of leverage, but I genuinely think that community, it will become the dominant sort of lead generation force. That's how you'll get them.
Yeah, no.
Bit of a diatribe there. Sorry.
You nailed it. I mean, I'm trying to think as a chiropractor right now. I know they're like, okay, this makes sense. I love this, building a community that, before the need is there, that when they think of it, they think of me. It just makes perfect sense. Once they run into the problem, they know where the solution is. It makes sense. So if you're thinking right now, I mean, and you help, let's say, infants or newborns, or you're a prenatal chiropractor, whatever, you're going to sell everything that a newborn can run into, every problem that they run into: tongue ties, colic, bedwetting, non-sleeping, constipation, and you're writing books or courses or feeding that university in there. That's amazing. And then you're solving the whole problem. Doctors are like, I don't have time for this. I'm like, well, wear the device. now
There you
now
go.
you got it, right?
Right. Like this gets it out of the mind. And then, dude, the thing is as well, doctors, please start using AI everywhere. Don't be afraid of it. I don't use it to eliminate workforce. I use it to empower workforce. And how good it is today is just going to consistently get better until probably all the robots take over. I don't know. It is what it is.
I think
But
that's
like,
what everyone's looking at, is the robots. I'm like, well, until that time, use
let's make
AI.
most of it. Yeah, let's make
Use
most
it,
of it.
because it just saves you a whole bunch. We would never be able to develop a community like this. That's in. How would you develop a university by yourself? You're going to have, like, for me, it's going to be the University of Enrico. Literally, my community is going to be this, with a whole bunch of courses, marketing, statistics, like, it's going to be all this stuff. So just change those words to your doctor or university of colic, tongue ties, torticollis, bedwetting. Those are all your courses that are in there, and they don't all have to be free. They can purchase it for $49. They can people who are not dabbling with you can purchase it, and then they don't have to be in Auckland. They can be in Melbourne and buy your program and maybe never see you, but hey, they bought your program. So you expand your horizon. So if you're a functional medicine doctor, I hope you're excited right now. You should be super excited. Or a naturopath, you should be super excited. You'd be like, this makes sense. But if you're a brick and mortar practice person like myself, I'm excited. I'm pumped up. Simon's got me going today. This is great.
Correct. There's like you should be on a scale of like pretty excited to extremely excited, right? If you've got a product that you can serve digitally and you can actually do just as good and sell a high ticket service over Zoom, well, you should be partying at this point. And despite that, I feel like so many local brick and mortar practices go, oh yeah, not for me though. Hyper niche community. Like, I'm from a small town, Palmerston North. I target Palmerston North, do flyer drops, get people into this community and be the physio of Palmerston North. You got 600 members in there. Perpetual leads. You will, if you do it and you invest correctly and you help these people for free, and you got some paid options as well, you become the natural choice. And so, it's coming at that problem of like, oh, this lead quality is shit. It's like, you're at the bottom of a fire hose with everyone else going, me, 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 versus like going up to where the fires is plugged in and just like siphoning it out early and going, oh, I've just got my own bucket. This is my bucket. It's just like
my own population to choose from. It's great. It makes perfect sense. And a lot of people, going around like, well, I already have my Facebook page. I already have my Instagram page. I already have my TikTok. People already follow me. Well, this is completely different. This is a highly engaged community versus a follower. A follower never sees your stuff, never engages, or already engaged with you and are happy. They're happy. They don't have that problem anymore. You solved it. They did the braces. Their teeth are straight. They're done. So that's how you have to think about this community thing. And you got to be on the forefront of this, because like Simon says, 5 years from now, everyone's going to have these communities. It's going to be saturated. It's going to be Facebook profiles all over the place, tons of communities. Everyone's going to be tired of it. No one's going to join any more communities, just like Facebook groups. People are done joining Facebook groups. People are done doing this stuff, but community is the next thing. That's super cool. Platforms to look into. You use Skool, Skool.
I use Skool because it's really simple. The way I describe it is Skool's like the iPhone. It doesn't have as much functionality as the Android stuff. Like, there's circles good, and you can do some of the stuff in Facebook groups now as well. But the question is it a Facebook group with a bunch of people in there, and a giveaway once a month and a couple of random posts? It's like, take it that step further and get it out of your brain and actually help them, get them life outcomes. Build trust, deliver value, and do it. And you can now do it with AI in a way, like you said, it's just right there. And we use AI and Filipino team members. And so the two together are just magnificent. We're talking for 15,000, not even that's New Zealand dollars. We're talking for 10,000 US a year. You get a part-time community manager, all the AI systems, the whole 9 yards, and you can create that whole ecosystem. Because I think it sounds quite intimidating at first, but it's actually, with this generative AI technology, it's removed the biggest barrier, which is I don't have 10 hours a week to sit down and write out courses and build all of this content. You don't need to anymore. One of the things we do with especially time poor entrepreneurs, again, I've only done this like 6 or 7 times, but it's like 7 for 7 wins so far in all these different industries. Every industry has been different. And for one guy's a no-code developer, really time poor, I just said, look, mate, start your community. There's no course, there's no nothing. And you do a 1-hour Q&A every week. Get people to come in. He's normally $300-400 an hour. Come in and get it for free, come and talk to me for free, get a little consult for free. And then everything that he's saying, the questions are driven by the user. So that means it's guaranteed market relevance, right? If you're getting the right people into the group. And then he's answering those questions. We're capturing all that detail, and every question's a module. And so there's this thing where I think the prevailing sort of internal roadblock is, I can't do that. It's going to be too much upfront work. But with the tech now, we actually just have to reframe that. And it's like, now just get in there, talk to your customers. If you can talk and support and help people and you say great things and you can articulate it verbally, like 95% of the work can be done with AI and a really, really affordable Filipino team member. And you're away.
Yeah, this is a no-brainer. And I think it just takes a little bit of time to wrap your head around it. But I've said this before, like 7 years ago, when I told people, "Hey, you got it now. You got to do Facebook ads now. You got to have your Facebook profile. You have to have your brand and your marketing awareness in queue to reap the cash flowing out of the screen." Like you said, they missed that boat. They had no brand authority. They had no marketing. They had no profiles. And then now it's saturated. So we are telling you, you have to get into communities. If you're a doer, you call Simon or you message me, and I pretty much forward you to Simon, and we do this, and you get going and you build your community, or you dabble in it right now and get a basic understanding of what a community is, so that you get some ideas of how and what you're gonna move forward. But I think for doctors, this is a no-brainer. Your brain is everything that AI needs to transcribe for you. It's there. You have an entire university in your frontal cortex. Just spill it out. Doesn't matter what your accent is, Canadian, New Zealand, American, AI will listen.
The Commonwealth accents are, difficult, but attractive. I get lots of compliments on my guttural accent. Dude, can I touch on I think the question, the next question I get is like, oh, I can't do it. It's too much time. The next one I've gotten is, how am I going to get people in there? How am I going to get people? Same way you're getting people into your practice as it is. All of those same marketing channels. And one of the things I say as well is, you don't have to flip to this and become a community marketer full time, but add it into all those comms. I think I mentioned that. Add it to the phone call, add it to the text, add it to the outreach, add it to the flyer drop, add it to the, hey, do you know anyone else that you think maybe I could help? Would you know anyone else that might want to join our community? It's lower friction. You're not having to get someone now to refer you to someone who has a back issue today, right? Or if I love that example of the pediatric physio, or hey, who do you know that's having a baby soon? We've got this great program, and it'll set them up, and they'll probably avoid most of the issues. Because if I can help you avoid the issues, so you never have to come and see me, brilliant. But knowing what we know about humans is they will, take the advice, ignore it, and then go, yeah, but you did tell me I should have done that, so now I trust you. Can you help me?
Yes. See, you become the authority in the information. We did this with ebooks. We've done all this stuff. No one's even signing up for ebooks anymore because
Correct.
email's not dead. It's just they don't want to sign up for any more crap.
Yeah.
That's where people are at. They just don't want to sign up for any more crap. So it's all the old concepts in new form. We're using, communities. Communities never existed 10 years ago because there was no AI. Imagine trying to set up your own university. I mean, only universities did this. No one else did the online programs because they didn't have the 400 staff members to do that, to build it for them. You don't need anybody. You need AI. And I would get a virtual assistant for sure to put that all together for you and do it. I mean, that's absolutely fantastic. Or just start a community and see what happens once it starts to build. It's people are looking for solutions to problems. So don't overthink this. Think of your number one ideal client and those people that you love helping. What's that one or two things that you help with? That's it. That's what you start your community with. You start as the thyroid support group of Auckland or whatever, or Tampa Bay, whatever it is. That's how it is. And then you become the thyroid people of the place that don't want to use drugs. So Simon and I come up with 100 examples of what you can create a community at, but start with your ideal client and get that rolling. Thanks a lot, Simon. That was awesome.
And add the value, because one of the other big points 10 years ago, it was hard to do, but you didn't need to. You could do the ebook, you could do the email list, this is human, this is commerce. This is the way the world works. There's low-hanging fruit, right? We pick all the fruit and then you have to go to a new level of difficulty. And the question is, are you willing to move? Are you willing to move with the market? And just, Instagram came out, you weren't early, you got in late. TikTok came out, you weren't early, you got in late. And ebooks, you're on late. Just don't do the thing. Don't do the thing where you do it in 4 years. This, it's new now. It's right. And it's not brand new, but it's at that early adoption curve where, just like Shopify came out and kind of made e-commerce pretty comfortable and simple to get going. School's done that. Other programs are doing that. There's the cultural mega trends we talked about. So it's a really nice time. Just don't do that thing again. Because like you said, if you're a doer, get going. And for those of you that really genuinely believe hey, I've got some X factor. I know what I do special. I'm really good at my craft. This is for you, because this gives you the leverage to transcend whatever current revenue model you've got is and move into, hey, I help elite C-suite staff live 10 years longer. It's 15K a year. I only work with 100 people. Cool. There's 1.5 mil a top line, and after costs, etc. Maybe you pull in 750, and it's on a laptop. You're doing 3 calls a week. Obviously, dream scenario, not going to happen for everyone, but for that top, if there's that top 1% individual out there, top 0.1% that's really got the sauce, this is the model for you, because that everything in that brain, that personal university that's currently restricted, you can get that and you can sell that at scale. So it's a win for everyone, but for a couple special individuals, it's generational wealth.
Yeah, it's thinking big right there. I like that. Man, that's awesome. So yeah, contact Simon. I'll have all of his handles and his email and everything in the descriptor below. But reach out to him. E-commerce accelerators.
Yep.
Thanks, man. That was super awesome. You're gonna get me calling you in a minute here, so that's great.
Yeah, let's talk. Man. Thanks for having me on. It was really cool. And if there's interest and stuff, I'll come back. I'd love to keep having the conversation.
Let's have you back. Let's see who's pulled the trigger, and maybe we get some questions that come up, and we can do a podcast on that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Cool, man. Thanks. Take care.
Yes.